And we're live. Hello, everybody. Good, happy Sunday. It is October 16th, 10 a.m. Sports Talk with Ernest and Frankie. Week week 6 of the NFL fantasy and locks of the week that we're going to be discussing today. Good morning, Ernest. How's it going today?
Hey, good morning, man. It's going good. A little bit, a little tired, hungover from yesterday. It's Saturday, but we're still here.
Awesome games yesterday for baseball. We've been following the October Magic that has been going on. Maybe later on during the week, once the games start getting a little bit more interesting, the Astros are advancing to the American League Championship game. One more series, and they go to the World Series. We'll be following baseball, of course, but King Ernest. So let's get right into it. The Atlanta Falcons will be hosting the 49ers today. The Niners are set to win this game by 4.5, according to Vegas, with the over being 45.5. How do you see this game, Ernest, moving forward?
I think 49ers got this with 4.5. They played last week in against the Panthers. They stayed in the East Coast. They stayed in a hotel for the whole week. So that team building with Jimmy. He wasn't in the off season with them. So being with him at the hotel for a week, it's that bond building. So I definitely got the 49ers with 4.5 on that. What you got?
I I have the Atlanta Falcons covering the
Oh,
spread. Now, again, guys, according to Vegas, the 49ers are set to win by 5 points. For the past 5 games, Ernest, the Atlanta Falcons have been 5-0 against the spread, meaning that they don't have to win the game per se, but they have to cover the points. And I'm gonna let it ride. I'm gonna bet on the Falcons at home. Close matchup going into the fourth quarter. So I have the Atlanta Falcons covering with the 5 points. So if you're a betting man, I would buy the point five, just to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. But you're right. It seems as if the 49ers, Ernest, are clicking in all cylinders. Maybe the best thing that would have happened to them, Ernest, or to have happened to them was for their young quarterback to get hurt. Jimmy G's been playing lights out. What did you say?
yeah, definitely. That's what Jimmy's doing. They're doing that team building right now. So I mean, last week against the Panthers, they really did match up. It was a great game for the 49ers, and I still think they're going to do that this week. So I do cover that spread 4.5. It's going to be easy for the 49ers. So that's the first mix matchup that we got there between us.
Hey, and we're gonna keep score. Every week, we're gonna give up the updates of how we fared so far. Again, we have the points against the spread, and also the pick of the week or the lock of the week. So we'll keep track of that, so our community, so the NFL community could follow as well. Now, the New England Patriots. Yesterday, last week they defeated the number one offense, which was ironically the Detroit Lions. They'll be traveling to Cleveland and play the Browns. And Cleveland, Ernest, is favored to win by 3 points, and the over/under is 43. How do you see this game?
Well, it's going to be tough for the Pats. They got Damien out, they got Clowney out, so Browns got to have this 2.5 points. That's really easy to cover. So I think I got the Browns definitely on this game.
I have the New England Patriots. Their defense has been playing lights out. Bill Belichick, of course, always game plans and masterminds and studies the opponent. I have the Patriots winning big, Ernest, on this one, and I would even dare take the under. I think there's going to be a close matchup. Great defenses going at it, but I feel as if the Patriots will come out on top on with this game.
Was if they stop Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they got a chance. But man, they're just two beasts in the backfield. It's going to be tough to close them out. But you're right, right? Bill Belichick is a mastermind when it comes to the defense. So hopefully, that's going to be a good game to see today.
And the reason why, Ernest, that I'm leaning towards the defense and a low scoring game is because I thought the Detroit Lions, even though they're 2-3, their offense was or is awesome so far in this early season. But we saw again how Bill Belichick, the master of defense, the defensive schematic schemes that he has, were able to shut down the number one offense. And I agree. The Cleveland Browns, they have a 1-2 punch in Chubbs and Hunt. They got Cooper on the outside, and they got Njoku at tight end. I have this a close game, but I have the Patriots with the plus with the plus 2.5. Now,
All right.
I was hoping, Ernest, that we have an England a game overseas. I love waking up at 8, 9 in the morning, turning on the TV, and we have football. Last week we had the Giants upset the
Packers.
Packers in shocking form. Now, do you have the Jets pulling off the upset once again? They are set to travel into Lambeau, and the Green Bay Packers are favored to win by 7.5 with the over under at 45.5. How do you see this game, Ernest?
Nah, definitely. I mean, that was at halftime, the Packers were winning. It seemed like they were going to win. They were up by 10. But then the Jets turned it around. They got really good rookies out there. They got Zach Wilson. They got Wilson. They got Brees Hall, which is on my fantasy. He's going to be a beast in the upcoming years. But I'm going to take the Packers with that spread, 7.5. That's a good spread at Lambeau, like you mentioned. And there's this stat that Aaron and LaFleur, they haven't lost a game after a lost game. So they're going to come back and they're going to take that W with that 7.5 spread.
I'm going to go against you, Ernest. I'm going to take the points. The Packers last week against the Giants, they were favored by 10 points. At the half, we thought, oh, this is going to be a blowout. Here came the Giants little by little. I like the Jets. I like Salah. He is a defensive-minded coach. Without Devontae Adams, Ernest, I feel as if the Packers are, sort of handicapped. They don't have that one that core of receivers that demands double coverage. So I'm going to have the Jets with the points at 7.5. But I do have this being an over game. The over was 45.5. I have the game going over with the Jets with the points at 7.5. Now,
All right.
one of the weakest divisions, in my opinion, has been the AFC South. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Colts, and Matt Ryan, who can't put it all together. The Texans obviously are going through a rebuilding year, and the Tennessee Titans. We have a divisional matchup coming up. The Jaguars travel to Indianapolis, and this is a toss-up, Ernest. The Indianapolis Colts are favored to win by 1.5 with the over-under being 41. What's your take?
Oh man, that's a low 1.5. Definitely gonna take that. I mean, Taylor's not gonna be playing for the Colts. They also got linebacker Shaquille playing now, defensive FP. I mean, they're just really struggling. Like you mentioned, Matt Ryan is struggling as well. And for 1.5, definitely gonna take the that spread. So I got the Colts getting that W and the spread as well.
Here I come. I feel as if this game is gonna be a close one down to the wire, but I have the Jaguars. I have the Jaguars in the toss up. I lost faith in Matt Ryan, even though I am very fond of the offensive coach, the head coach for the Colts. It's Matt Ryan. You need a quarterback. I think Trevor Lawrence is coming into form, third year in the NFL. He has looked promising in these few games. So I have this being an over with a high scoring matchup with the Jaguars. With the Jaguars winning this game by 4.
Oh man,
Now
that's a lot.
I have it 27-23, but we'll see. Now the surprising team and the thing that everyone's been talking about has been Tua Tagovailoa. The concussion a few weeks ago, how badly that was handled by the Miami Dolphins and their medical staff and team. We saw how the backup quarterback, the one that used to play with the Texans and the Chargers, what's his name? Number 5. He got hurt. Now they have a third string up there. Tua Tagovailoa will be sitting out for this game, and the Vikings are favored to win by 3 against the Dolphins with a 45.5 over under. How do you see this matchup, Ernest?
Just like you mentioned, they're going through all their depth chart. This kid, Skylar Thompson, the QB for the Dolphins. I mean, we're going to see how it plays out, but you can't trust someone that hasn't had any starts in the last years. So we got to see. But I'm going to take the Vikings on this. It's 3 points. It's not a lot of points, so I'm going to take the Vikings with that spread. And like you mentioned, Tua, we got to see what Tua, if they're going to play him next week. Everybody's going to be, tossing, their hate on the Dolphins if they do play him, if they don't play him. But the honest thing is not to play him, right? Get him a little bit more rested. So wait until week 8 to play Tua.
My first thought was, he's done for the year.
Oh,
He will be coming back.
yeah,
Probably as early as next week. But I agree with you. I think the Vikings, even though Kirk Cousins is um,
off and on.
inconsistent, he's off and on. He's inconsistent. I do love the receiver Jefferson and Thickpen, I think it is, or Thielen. Thielen,
Dylan
they got a
Adams.
1-2 punch, explosive offense, and I have them uh,
Mm.
winning easy against the Dolphins without Tua. Now, the matchup, the Bengals. The Bengals will be going to New Orleans. This game, the Bengals are favored to win by 3 with the over under being at 43. How do you have this game?
I mean, it's a tough one. If Winston's playing?
He is not playing. He's sitting out. So Eddie Dalton will start again. Also for fantasy owners, the receiver Olave, he will be sitting out. The rookie from Ohio State. So to your point, Eddie Dalton without Jameis Winston.
Without Jay. All right. Well, I mean, last week, we saw Taysom Hill. I just picked him up on my fantasy. You're going to start him as a tight end. He went explosive. He could do everything. He could rush. He could throw. He could catch. I mean, he's one type of a player, and that's going to be the key factor, right? If Taysom Hill could do that, what he did last week, then they got a chance. But I still got the Bengals on this. 3 points. It's not a lot of points for the Bengals, so definitely got the Bengals winning this with that spread.
And you said it best. This guy, Hill, he's a beast. He had 4 touchdowns, 1 throwing and 3 on the ground yesterday. They look very explosive. Obviously, once he's in, we know what they're going to do, right, Ernest? They're going to run the ball. But even though everyone knows what they're going to do, they still haven't been able to stop it. I do like the Bengals. They had a great performance against the Ravens on Monday Night Football this past week. Joe Burrow is doing Joe Burrow things as we all expected. So I like the Bengals here traveling to NOLA and securing that 3 point win. Now, the next game coming up will be the Baltimore Ravens and the Giants. Baltimore is favored by 5.5 with the over under. Ernest, with the over under being 46. Do you think that the Giants would be able to contain Lamar Jackson?
I don't think so. I mean, Lamar's, he's like Kyler, he's like Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. He's very versatile. So I got the Ravens taking this by 5.5.
Even though uh, hey, Travis Kelsey had a crazy game. That was on Monday night. Even though Ernest, uh, you're picking the Ravens, I think that the Giants are the real deal. I like their head coach from Buffalo, offensive minded coach. We saw how they were able to secure a victory in London against a great offensive minded team, which is the Green Bay Packers. I think, Ernest, that 5.5 is too much for the Giants. I think that if you're a betting person, you take the points. I would even buy the point five to have you at 6 points. So,
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to contain Lamar Jackson, as we all know. He's gonna put up, Madden numbers, of course. But the most important thing is securing the victory with 6 points. The Giants will be able to keep this close, in my opinion. So I like the New York Giants. You have Baltimore
I got
winning by
Baltimore.
6. I have the Giants. If you buy that point five, point being a close game, I have them plus
Plus,
6 moving forward. Now, Tom Brady, he's been in the news. He's going through a divorce. It's been a crazy hectic year for him. He travels to Pittsburgh. Many individuals, would say, "Hey, this is an easy game." They are favored to win by 9.5 with the over under. The over under being 46. Do you think Tampa Bay and Brady will have it easy in Pittsburgh today?
I think so. Last week, I mentioned that, it's going to be a struggle for him, but at the end of the day, he's the GOAT, right? There was no matchup for him. He went out there and did his thing. And they're playing against the Steelers. They're not doing so great. That the rookie quarterback, Pat, their tight end is out. So it's going to be a tough matchup for the Steelers. So I got the Bucks even at 10 points taking this game.
Last week, Ernest, we talked about how we felt, and both you and I agreed that the Packers would have no problem beating the Giants by 10. What do we see in the NFL? 10 points is a lot of points. Even though the Pittsburgh have a rookie quarterback in Kenny Pickens, they do have a strong defense. Tampa Bay, even though they have the GOAT Tom Brady, their offense is still a little sluggish and hurt. I'm gonna take the Steelers. Again, I like to buy the 0.5 point just because with 10 points, I feel as if I'm a little bit more secure. So I think that Tampa will win this game. But to me, 10 points, Ernest, for an NFL team, to me that's too much. So I'm gonna say that
You got the Steelers.
I got the Steelers with the points. Do you think it's gonna be a low scoring game or is it gonna be a high scoring matchup?
I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I got the Bucks scoring about 20 and a touchdown with the Steelers.
Nice. Now we're following that up with the Rams. The Rams will be hosting the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers just fired their head coach. There's even talks, Ernest, of Christian McCaffrey being traded before the deadline. The points again here is -10 with the over-under being 41.5. Who do you have and why?
I think that's a lot I mean, like you mentioned, the 10 points, it's a lot. But in this game specifically, I mean, you mentioned that they fired the coach. PJ Walker's going to be starting, if I believe, for the Panthers. He did have a great season when he was in the XFL, I believe. He led the league in touchdowns and passing yards. And with 10 points, that's a lot of points. So I got the Panthers, plus 10 on this.
Here, it seems as if I'm contradicting myself at every turn. But even though I just stated that the Steelers will be covering the 10-point spread against Tom Brady, which is arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, Ernest, I'm going to go against my advice, and I'm going to say that the Rams are going to win by 13 points. So they will cover the spread. The Panthers, for whatever reason, Baker Mayfield is hurt. Sam Darnold is out. They're going to their third-string quarterback. It's going to be an easy night for the Los Angeles Rams' defense. I have them winning by 13 points. It's going to be close in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be like a pick six. I think there's going to be like a pick six or a fumble to the house. So I have the Rams covering that game easily. Now, Seattle, we talked about last week how Geno Smith has been holding his own after Russell left town. The Arizona Cardinals are set to travel to Seattle. There are favored to win by 2.5 with the over/under being 50.5. What would you advise? Would you advise individuals to place money on Geno Smith, Ernest?
Nah, I don't think I'm ever going to advise that. I mean, Geno, he's been doing really great, but there's still some quarterbacks out there, right, that are still better than him. And if we're going to the spread, the Seahawks, they got the worst defense in the NFL. The Cards, they just got a match, right? I mean, they haven't been consistent as well, but I do got the Seahawks covering this spread 2.5, right? I believe.
And the crazy thing is, Ernest, that both of these teams, they've been very inconsistent. I thought that the Arizona Cardinals, with the coach Kingsbury being his fifth year with the team, that they would have this chemistry. But as of right now, Murray, the quarterback, he hasn't been able to find his groove. I am not sold on the Seahawks. I think Geno Smith doesn't have a lot of tape as of late, so he's able to hide behind that. He has been playing stellar in the absence of, or since the departure of Russell Wilson. I have Arizona traveling to Seattle and winning by 7 to 10 points. I think that this being a -3 game is a toss-up. So I have the Cardinals. I have the Cardinals favored to win this game. Now, Ernest, the talk around town, ever since the start of the season has been, when is that Kansas City Buffalo Bills game going to come up? And we saw, we were left with an amazing lasting impressions of the Buffalo Bills. Who can forget that playoff game last year? It was the last 2 minutes was so intense. Well, we have Buffalo traveling to Kansas City this afternoon. Buffalo, Ernest, which is probably one of the heavily favored to win the Super Bowl for this upcoming year, is favored to win by 2.5, with the over/under being 54. Who do you have and why?
I mean, this is one of that matchup that you're looking for. I think this is the game of the week. Bills KC and Josh Allen. He's just being a monster right now. He's going out there and throwing those yards. And 2.5 is not a lot. And they're going into Arrowhead. But I still got the Bills on this one. 2.5. It's a field goal. So I got the Bills winning with that 2.5 spread.
I agree with you. I like Josh Allen. He's already in MVP form. Their defense, Ernest, the Buffalo Bills defense, have been lights out as of late. I do like the Buffalo Bills taking the points at -3. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, with his group, explosive. They can score points how we saw them do against the Raiders on Monday. But it's Josh Allen. I think it's his year. I think he's hungry. Left a bad taste in his mouth after the last playoff game. So I have the Buffalo Bills traveling to Arrowhead and pulling off the victory. Now, Ernest,
time. Yep.
my game of the week is the Cowboys and Eagles, and both teams, Ernest, both teams have been playing lights out. The Philadelphia Eagles, they do have a high offensive power behind his receivers, and the Cowboys, they have an amazing defense with Dan Quinn leading the charge. They do play tonight on Sunday Night Football. The Eagles, Ernest, do come in at a 6.5 favorite. The over/under is at 42. Who do you like and why?
I mean, we like the Cowboys, and I'm still gonna all year long. I'm gonna root for the other team. So I'm gonna go with Eagles because if you go to the Cowboys, they're gonna be salados. So I'm going for the Eagles 6.5. Hopefully the Cowboys win, but I think the Eagles could cover that 6.5. Hopefully they don't. Eagles.
So you have the you
Eagles
have
covering 6.5.
The Eagles covering 6.5. Damn. I can't go against the Cowboys. The only loss that they had was Dak wasn't on. The defense have been playing lights out. Parsons is everything we thought he was going to be. Cooper Rush, props to Cooper Rush for keeping us in this division. We all thought, once Dak went down, oh great, there goes the season. This is the game of the week, Sunday Night Football. I have this being close, Ernest, but again, if you have a great defense, it's hard for me to bet against that. The Cowboys, they have not allowed more than 2 touchdowns in this season. Again, could this change against a high-profile offense, a very prolific offense, which is the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm going to buy the 0.5 for a little bit more, but I'm going to take the Cowboys at +7. If you give me a touchdown lead with the best defense in the NFL, or one of the best defenses in the NFL, I'll take that any day. To me, I'm a big believer in defense wins championships. So hopefully they can stop the high profile, the prolific offense that the Eagles have.
All right.
For Monday, the Broncos will be having a division matchup against the LA Chargers. Chargers are favored to win by 4.5. The over/under being 45.5. Russell Wilson does have a torn labrum, I think, on his throwing shoulder. Maybe that's the reason why the Chargers are favored to win so big, or maybe it's because the Broncos just plain suck. How do you have this game? Ernest?
I didn't want to put it like that, but pretty much, right? They're not doing great. So I got the Chargers 4.5. They're at Chargers are at home, so I think that's an easy pick. That's actually my lock of the week. Broncos, Chargers, 4.5.
Nice. He has the Chargers at 4.5. I'm also gonna take. The Chargers. They have a great quarterback, good defense. The Broncos this year, we all thought, oh, Russell's in. He's a champion. He's gonna lead the way. This team needs chemistry. It's going to take maybe next year, possibly even to the third year, where they're even relevant, where they have weapons around him. The Chargers are just too good for this, Ernest. I agree with you. Chargers, covering the spread.
So what was your lock of the week?
My lock of the week is gonna be, Ernest, the Cowboys. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to go against having one of the best defenses in the NFL and giving them 7 points cushion. To me, that's too big. Last week, and again, we're gonna be tallying up. We wanted for us to have enough picks under our belt in order for us to reveal to our community just how good we have it here at Sports Talk with Frankie and Ernest. We are of great minds, so we'll be revealing those numbers. So we'll keep tally, Ernest, of the spreads and the way we categorize the pick, and also of the lock of the week. Last week, I did pick the Tennessee Titans over the Washington Redskins or Commanders, if you want to be politically correct. This week, Ernest, the lock of the week, the pick of the week, I have the Cowboys with covering the spread at +7. I'm buying the 0.5 at +7 against the Eagles. That's my lock of the week. What about yours?
Mine, like I mentioned, Broncos, Chargers. Broncos aren't doing good. Rosa's not going to be playing, so Chargers. Herbert's doing, what Herbert does when he's at home. So got that 4.5, definitely covering that. And well, we're not going to talk about it Thursday games until Bezos gets a refund from the NFL for getting those transmissions. So let's just skip Thursday night games for a while.
Yeah, it's been back-to-back weeks, and Ernest, I thought there's no way you can be worse than last week, and we were proven wrong once again. Thank you everybody for your time and your attention. Week 5 of the NFL. We didn't touch on fantasy as much. There are a few injuries out there, but nothing really that should affect your starting lineup for week 6 of the NFL fantasy matchups. We'll be back on. We're thinking about doing a college thing. We'll see how that goes. We'll let everybody know. But for sure, make sure you tune in next week on Sunday at 10 a.m. every morning. Sports Talk with Frankie and Ernest. Thank you for your time and your attention. Have a good night. Go Cowboys.
Good day. Good day, guys.